Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something that's absolutely critical for any business, but honestly gets overlooked all the time. It's called key person insurance. This is the thing that could literally save your company when things go sideways. So, yeah, let's get right into it. So, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll pinpoint a major risk that frankly almost every single business has. Then we'll define the solution, talk about its benefits, how it all works, and then we're going to bust a few myths before we wrap it all up. Every business has that person. You know who I'm talking about. It could be the founder with the big vision, or that superstar salesperson who brings in half the revenue, or maybe it's the tech genius who built the whole product from scratch. And that's amazing, until it's not. That reliance, that's a massive risk. So let's just ask the tough question. What if that key person, your rainmaker, was just gone tomorrow? An unexpected accident, a sudden illness? What happens to the business? For so many companies, the answer is just chaos. Revenue dries up, clients lose faith, and all that forward momentum just grinds to a halt. The stakes? They are insanely high. Okay, so we've got this huge problem, right? Well, the good news is you don't just have to cross your fingers and hope for the best. There's a financial tool that was literally designed for this exact scenario. So what is it exactly? Well, in a nutshell, key person insurance is a policy that the company itself takes out on a crucial employee. And here is the most important part. You have to get this. The business pays the premiums, the business owns the policy, and if the worst happens, the business is the one that gets the payout. It's built from the ground up to protect the company. Now, it's really easy to get this mixed up with something called a buy-sell policy, but they are totally different animals. Key person insurance is all about giving cash directly to the company to keep the doors open and the lights on. A buy-sell policy, that's about funding the transfer of ownership between partners. One is for continuity, the other is for succession. Huge difference. So, how does this actually help a business when a crisis hits? I love this analogy. Think of it like a financial fire extinguisher. It's something you hope you never, ever have to use. But if a fire breaks out, it can be the one thing that stops a small problem from burning your entire company to the ground. This payout is a lifeline, and it works in 6 really critical ways that give the business the breathing room it desperately needs to recover. Let's walk through them. So first off, it ensures business continuity. That means you have cash to make payroll and keep your projects moving. Second, it protects your revenue and cash flow by filling the gap that person left behind. Third, and this is huge, it reassures your investors and lenders. They see you have a plan. Fourth, it gives you the money to fund a proper search for a replacement, which is not cheap. Fifth, it safeguards your credit and contracts so you can meet your obligations. And finally, and maybe most importantly, it buys you time. Time to make smart, calm decisions instead of panicked, desperate ones. Okay, so we've covered the why. Now let's get into the how. And the good news is, the way this all works is actually pretty straightforward. You've basically got 2 main flavors here. There's key person life, which pays a lump sum to the company if that employee passes away. But let's be real, death isn't the only risk. That's why there's also key person disability, which kicks in if they have a serious illness or injury and just can't work anymore. A lot of smart businesses actually get both to cover all their bases. So the big question, how much coverage do you actually need? Well, there are a few common ways to figure this out. You could do a simple multiple of their compensation, maybe 5 to 10 times their salary. Or you could base it on the revenue they're responsible for. Or you can calculate the actual real-world cost of replacing them, recruiting, hiring, training, the whole shebang. The point is, this isn't just a number you pull out of thin air. It's a strategic calculation. All right, like with a lot of financial stuff, there are some pretty big myths floating around about key person insurance that stop people from even looking into it. Let's just bust them one by one. Okay, myth number 1, you hear this all the time. Oh, that's just for the big guys, the huge multinational corporations. But the reality? It is the exact opposite. A giant corporation can probably absorb the loss of a key executive. A small business, where one person is wearing 5 different critical hats, they're so much more vulnerable. Honestly, they're the ones who need this protection the most. All right, next up, the one that stops a lot of conversations cold: cost. People just assume it's going to be way too expensive. But it's all about perspective. A term policy, which is often what we're talking about here, can be surprisingly affordable. And when you weigh that small, predictable premium against the absolute financial catastrophe of losing that person without a safety net, well, the math gets pretty simple pretty fast. And this last myth is a little more subtle. It's the idea that, well, since the money goes to the company, it doesn't really help the employees at all. But that's missing the entire point. By keeping the company afloat, the policy protects everyone's job. It makes sure there's money to make payroll, it keeps the lights on, it ensures the whole organization actually has a future. In that sense, every single employee benefits. So as we pull all this together, the real shift is to stop thinking about this as just another expense. It's not. This is a strategic investment in the stability, the resilience, and the future of your business. If you remember one thing, make it this. You have a backup generator for your power. You have backups for your data. This is a backup generator for your most valuable and irreplaceable asset, your key people. And that really just leaves one final question for you to think about. Your business has a plan for supply chain issues, for market downturns, for everything else, but does it have a plan for its people? Thanks for tuning in.